This video, we're going to talk about the Rebs from Deadzone Outbreak. Okay, so we're going to go over the Rebs, and this time I brought in a special guest. I brought in Andrew because it is his favorite faction.
Yeah, what's up, guys? I'm kind of excited to see what the new stuff is.
All right, so going over the Rebs, the Rebel Commander, she's still the same, basically has not changed. Always short, Recon 4, 28 points, 3 victory points. Still like her as a leader. I think she has her place in the Dead Zone.
Yeah, I do like her, especially with attack 2, but the splat isn't that good. That's why I usually take the Yindage instead.
Yeah.
But
yeah, just the item stuff. We're not big fans of the items things. Next would be a brand new leader. This is the Rebel Cell leader. Moves on a 1-2, 0 armor, size 1. Comes stock with a rapid fire range 6 rifle. Stats across the board is a 4-5-5, not bad, shoot. Tactician 1. Now the splat is Jack of all trades. Spend an army special result to allow the active model to switch their shoot, fight, or survive stat for that test. A stat value of blank may not be swapped. So, let's say you have a, something with a 3 up, and you get shot at, and your survive is a 6. You could switch it out. What do you think about that? That's a pretty good rule, I think.
yeah, it's pretty good. I like that splat a lot. I think out of all the leaders right now, that is my favorite splat, and I'm definitely going to bring this and try that out.
Okay, so now what we have is species diversity. So basically, if you take a human, you gain your logistics. If you take the Rin, you go from armor 0 to armor 1. If you're a Saphir, you change the fight from a 5 to a 6, but you gain the Mata Magma Lance, range 5, AP2. Basically, that's Nikolovsky's weapon with a 4-up shoot. If you change it to a Crawl leader, you change the shoot from a 4 to a 5, but the fight from a 5 to a 4 and a survive of 6. You also gain Glide and Scout, 20 points, 2 victory points, Recon of 5+. I really do like the species diversity. That makes you... The Rebs are supposed to be diverse, and it makes sense. Species diversity.
Yeah, it builds the universe more,
right?
Because it makes sense that there would be different species as leaders for the Rebs. And I mean, the human and the Rin one, they're all right, but for me personally, I don't really make my leader go out because I don't really want to risk losing the leader. The Saphir one is awesome. I do like that,
right,
to gain the Magma Lance, which I really like that a lot. And the Craw's pretty good too, but having Scout, I mean, I don't move my leader up, so I honestly, I would probably most likely take the Saphir one. So,
and basically it's almost like the Rebs have 3 leaders, and now they have another 4, so essentially they have 7 leaders, so they're leading the pack in leaders. And the Saphir is essentially Nikolovsky without the splat. Really do like it. I think this is great, bringing extreme diversity to the Rebs. The Yindage Infiltrator Commander, he is the same. Nothing has changed. Hide in the shadows, a great rule where even if you draw a line of sight to it, you can't shoot the model. He's got tac 1, Agile, Scout, 5-4-5. Still a good leader, right?
Yeah, still really good leader, but I mean, Rebel Cell leader and the Yindage are both 20 points. So maybe I'm leaning towards the Rebel Cell leader being better, just because Splat is a lot better. You use that more often, maybe, I guess, depending on the situation.
Then again, you could throw Hide in the Shadows on. You could put it on anything. You could put it on one of the Teratons. You could put it on a Strider. You could put it on anything. So it's still good. So now you really got to think. You got a lot of choices.
And they're both the same points, so you're not really losing points or gaining points.
I think the Yindage would be in that list if it didn't already have an entry. Okay, let's move on to the troops. Brand new troop. The Rebel Sorak has gone from a specialist to a troop.
Yay.
Moves 1-2, armor 0, size 1, 5-6-5. Comes with the blaster, range 4, which is blast, 10 points, 1 victory point. Now, I know this is not such a big deal, but the blaster isn't terrible, and he's only 10 points, 1 VP. You're essentially taking the Sorak for the blaster. You're moving guys, blasting them off, pinning them. It's not terrible. There are better options, but it's not terrible.
Yeah, it is nice to see that the Sorak is a troop now, because I wouldn't want to spend a specialist slot for a Sorak. But now that they're troops, I may take Soraks now, maybe take a bunch of them with a bunch of troopers or something like that.
And essentially, just you're taking them because they have the blast. So you're getting a troop with a blast weapon, and he's not a specialist anymore. It doesn't take up a specialist slot. The Rebel Trooper, I still think solid, man. 7 points, 1 victory point, shoots on a 5. Not very survivable, but for 7 points, they're a bargain. The Rebel Yindage, they are still the same with Agile. They have Scout, 12 points, 1 victory point. This is the most expensive one, 5.56 with the range 6 rifle. They're a little bit more expensive. I don't know. The Rebel Trooper is really good. I think the Sorak is good. The Yindage does have its place, though, and it's only 12 points, but it is the most expensive, almost double the Trooper.
I mean, paying the extra, couple points for the Yindage might be worth it just because of the Scout. They do have a better fight, so you can kind of get them up if you want. If you kind of figure out a way to hoard them out, might be good to have just a bunch of them scout up in the beginning, attack a bunch of guys, or maybe just get into a better position to shoot using the Scout.
Yeah, that's what I think it is. They can take small arms and light melee, so it really doesn't help when you're going to keep them with the rifle. So let's move on to the specialists. All right, so starting off, the Jude 1 medic is exactly the same. 10 points, 1 victory point. Medic, non-combatant, still has energy shield 3, survive of 6. I think we're both in agreement. We're both not too fond of medics.
Yeah, they're not that good.
No, I just, 10 points, 1 victory point, and he's also taking up a specialist slot. And especially with the Rebs, there's so many good options that you might not want it. I understand some people like to put them with the weapons team to heal them up to take that long reload off. That might be an option. They're not. I'm not going to say they're terrible, but I think there are other options that I'd rather take.
Yeah, my friend Sage took 2 of them in one of his Rebs lists when he was over. He was playing against me. And he took 2 medics, and they did their job healing, but in the long run, it didn't really help him that much.
And it's in a way, it's almost like a waste of an activation.
Or a waste of 10 points, and you could take something better.
Right. The Crow Warrior, still the same. Glide Scout, Wrist Blaster, Range 3 Blast. They're pretty good, They don't have a combat weapon. You can give them a combat weapon, but they're still the same. The only problem is the shoot of 6 and the survive of 6. They're really easy to kill.
I don't know. I think because they have Scout, you can at least try to hide them and get them up there as much as possible, and then kind of run up, shoot people with the Wrist Blaster, pin them, and then run into fighting with them. So because they do have a nice 4-up fight. So,
and if you get them up, you can glide down, but the 6-up survive is what kills them. So let's go on to the Grogans. Okay, the Grogans still the same, 5.54, 13 points victory point. These are the guys you usually give the Desolator or the Onslaught to, but they are Resilient 1, and Resilient 1 is the model may reroll an amount of dice when making a survive test. So essentially, it's like Weight of Fire, but if you fail a survive test, they get to reroll that. So what do you think in addition to this?
I think that's very good because, yes, I see the Grogans being, really tough, with that 4 survive, and giving them Resilient 1 is pretty good as well. It's kind of like light tough, I think. It's a lighter version of tough. You don't have tough, you just have resilient, and it's still a good rule, and I do like it a lot.
Why they lost tough, I don't know. I
mean, maybe it's just because they're not as strong as the Terratons, but they're still pretty strong.
Right. And 13 points, 1 victory point, they're not terrible. I mean, you are going to add victory points when you take either, I think, the Desolator. So, Rebel Sniper is still solid, 4.66. 16 points, 2 victory points. They have the sniper rifle that is not heavy, So you're always rolling a minimum of 5 dice on a 4-up shoot. Really good. I think they're great.
Just survive isn't that good, but they're still overall pretty good.
Yeah, they do. If they survive, they do really well. I think they do really well. And there's some options now that makes them a little bit more survivable. We'll get to that when we get to the items. The Rebel Specialist, you got Salvaggio there. And the reason he's there is because you'll see when we go over the weapons, you can actually take a flamer now. So the Devil is there with a flamer. They still 5, 6, 6, 7 points, 1 victory point. Essentially, it's a trooper that can take a cool weapon. The Teratons, exactly the same. Move 1 to 2, armor 1, size 3, teleport tough, 5-up survive. They have all their ceremonial blades, the grenade launcher, which is 1 use, frag 3, and the hand flamer, range 2, 1 use, it burns, 30 points, 3 victory points.
Still one of my favorite specialists.
Yeah, they are just so good. Okay, now let's go to the Rebel weapons team. This has changed. It used to be where you had the 2 models like you see here. Zephyr was the loader, and you'd have the cool gun in there. Now what you have is the weapons team, which essentially is you put them on 2 guys with the weapon on a 60 mil base, and you have 4 wounds. You can shoot. You can use a command dice on them until you get a wound. Once you get a wound, you have a long reload counter. And when you have that, after you shoot, you put a long reload counter on it. The next round, you must take that off to kind of reload. And then the round after that, you can shoot. So, what do you think about them being weapons team now?
I do like how they're kind of one unit now. It makes sense. But I don't know. They don't seem that interesting to me to take, per se, I guess.
Right. So now let's talk the next guy, which is the Rin Nomad. He's exactly the same. He's got a lot of cool stuff. He's got the twin pistols, range 3, weight of fire, twin knives, range F, frenzy 1, 1 armor, okay, 2 victory points. A little heavy compared to all the other guys, but he's 17 points, a 4-up shoot, and you can take a sniper rifle, and you can take a bunch of other things. He's pretty cool. I do like him, but he is cost heavy, and he's VP heavy.
Yeah, I mean, if he was down to 1 VP or maybe a little bit lower in points, maybe I would take him more often. But
he does have frenzy, and he does have weight of fire.
Yeah, the frenzy and the weight of fire are pretty good with a 4 shoot, which is even better.
Right, and then the 5 fight is not terrible with frenzy 1, so that kind of makes up for it. So
or the 5 survive with 1 armor.
Yeah, so he's definitely good option. I like the sniper rifle on him. That would be pretty good. Let's move on to the brand new unit, the Rebels Sorak Swordspawn. Move 1 to 2, no armor, size 1. The fight has been changed to 5, survive of 5. Now, he has the innate ability of Frenzy 1, but he comes with combat blades. So, the combat blades are Frenzy 1, so now you're at Frenzy 2.
Ooh.
13 points, 1 victory point. I think better. Frenzy 2 with a 5-up fight, not bad. I mean, no AP. But, you're rolling 2 misses. I think that's pretty good.
Yeah, that is very good, I think. With Frenzy 2, I mean, you don't really see that too much on models, Like either weight of fire 1 or Frenzy 1, you don't really see anything above that. But I do like the 5 fight and a 5 survive, so they are pretty survivable.
Yeah, I like it. It's better now.
Yeah, and for 13 points, they're not bad.
You can't go wrong. Here we go, the Sphere Lancer. Exactly the same 18 points, 2 victory points. Comes with a range 5 AP2 Magma Lance that they stole from the Forge Fathers. They shoot on 4s, survive on 5s. Fight stat, not too good, but you don't want to get them into fight. Yeah, I just love these guys. I really do.
Yeah, they are very good. Even with the AP2, they are very, they'll take away your armor. Plus, with a 4 shoot, even if somebody doesn't have armor, they still have a good shoot to, get rid of people that don't have armor. So.
And a 5-up survive is your average survive. So they're not terrible. I mean, this is the guys you bring. This is your AP killers, with the AP2. 2 victory points, a little hefty, but, with the...
but, I mean, a good shoot and AP2,
right. It's the combination of it.
It is worth it.
Yeah, definitely worth it. All right, here we go, the survey drone. Everything is the same with the survey drone. 7 points. They're a 0 VP, but they have Okay, so evade is a new rule which says if this model is hit but not killed or pinned by a shoot action, it may make an immediate 1 cube move in any direction. This may generate a fight as normal. So when they get shot, they will be able to make 1 move. Now they are agile, so they can go up in the stack. They can get a free move up in the stack, and they are constructs, so they won't be affected by certain things. You know, they're there to hold objectives. They aren't beasts, so they can pick up items and stuff like that for scour and whatnot. But 7.0 victory points. Move on to 2 to 3.
I mean, that for a specialist, they're not that good, but you know, looking at them without them being a specialist, Force Survive is pretty good with evade, and you know, if you get shot at, and the survive is pretty good, so you could be able to move on to objectives with evade, or get close to objectives, or pick up items if you were to do scour, like you said. But as a specialist, it doesn't seem like they're really that good.
Well, you gotta. I think because the troops are so cheap, you could maybe spend 7 points. You'll probably have 7 points left over. If you want to take a survey drone to do stuff like that, you know, with 7 points left over, because you know the troopers are the same price. So, you know, maybe drop 1 trooper, or if you have, like I said, 7 points to give a survey drone a try. They lost the spotter ability, so I think that kind of brought them down a little bit, but. You know, they're still the same. And with the 4-up survive, that's because they're so small. The Z Scavenger, you know, they haven't changed. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of them. I know that in Scour, they can, with the Scavenger ability, they can hold 3 items.
They're not that good at all.
No.
7, 7, and a 6 with a range 3 pistol, so it's not even like a, you know, a good ranged pistol. I mean, it's not even that good. I mean, if you were to play the Scour mission, maybe if the crates were close to you, but I doubt you want to get them, you know, further than a couple cubes away.
Yeah, and they're not going to... If they get hit, they're not surviving.
But
6 up.
6 points and 0 VPs.
But the problem is they take
up a specialist.
Yeah, specialist slot. The Teraton Shock Trooper, they were added in the FAQ, but now they're officially in. Move 1 to 2, armor 1, size 2. They are the males, which are smaller, 5.54 across the board. They have teleport, just that's the Teraton's innate ability. The only thing is they got some cool weapons. The Arc Launcher, which is range 4, AP 1, and they have a mace, which is range F, frenzy 1. So fight of 5, shoot of 5, not bad. They're still survive of 4, so they're survivable. 20 points, 2 VPs, pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, would you consider these better than the regular Teratons? Because, I mean, they do have a better weapon. I don't really, when I take regular Teratons, I don't really use their shooting weapons, really. I mostly just get them up into combat. But these guys are pretty good with range 4 and AP 1. So if you don't get them up close enough where they're not in combat, maybe you would be able to shoot. And AP 1's pretty good to, you know, knock out some armor. For 20 points, it's pretty good. And Frenzy 1 on the mace is really good as well.
Yeah. The thing is when you look at these guys, I don't think you should compare them to the Teratons, because they are, first of all, they're 1 less in size. But they do 2 different things. So the Shock Trooper will do a certain job, and then the regular Teratons do another type of job. They fill 2 different slots in the army. So I don't know who is better, but the Teraton Shock Trooper has its place. That's the way I look at it. So now let's go to the Rebel Strider. All the Striders now have solid beast and construct. Still armor 3, size 4, 5.54 across the board. Not too bad. Not as bad as the Plague. The Plague is worse than this, but 5.54 is good. Still 30 points, 3 VPs, 2 hard points. We'll go over what you could take in a second. Still a good unit. Here we go. Here is your list of stuff. All the things. What's a grenade launcher? What's a blaster? Oh, what's the difference between the Onslaught Cannon and the Desolator? Now you have the pictures. You know, people were worried about that. You got your GCPS mortar that they've taken away, so it's cool. You also have access to a flamethrower now. Really cool. Let's move down here. Like I said, new thing is a flamethrower. 4 points, 0 VP, range 2, volatile. It burns, light assault. I don't know. I'm not too crazy about flamethrowers just in general with the range 2. You know, I mean, you could get it burns, but you got to get up close and personal. The mortar, this is new. This is for your crew-served weapons. Before, you could take the missile launcher. Now you could take the mortar, 12 points, 1 VP, range 8, indirect 4, heavy. So what do you think now that they have access to mortars?
That's kind of cool. I do like that as well. But also the missile launcher is range 10, range 8. I mean, it doesn't really matter that much because the board is 8 cubes anyway. But, you know, I think it could work out pretty good. I mean, I'm not that big of a fan of it, but I'll have to try it out and see how it works.
The mortar's indirect, and you don't need line of sight. You will need to get 2 dice, but the missile launcher, you're going to have to move, and then it's AP4. Kind of put you out in the middle of the board. Yeah, I don't know. I'm a fan of the mortar. I always like the mortars. So now the Strider has access to the heavy burst laser. Range 10, 1 victory point, 8 points, weight of fire 2, and suppression just like the other Striders with a 5-up shoot. Not too bad.
Yeah, nice to suppress guys with weight of fire too, and get people like across the board with that range 10, and for 8 points, it's pretty good at throwing a Strider.
Yep. Now the chainsaw is the same, but the only thing is now it has AP2, still has frenzy. You know, if you're going to take the combat thing, the assault flamer, and then the chainsaw. Now, everything else here is the same, but they have access to a defender shield.
Yay. That's awesome.
So, you know, you could take 1 in a 200 in any point game because it is unique. Or, you know, you also have the energy shield 3. It is a lot more points, but like I was saying before, that's a way for you to get some survivability on some guys. Defender shield, energy shield. I think that's a really good addition.
Yeah, that is awesome to have the Rebs take defender shields now.
And it just makes sense that they like plundered the dead zone and they walked away with an enforcer shield. So here's a few more pictures: the Polaris cannon, the chainsaw, assault flamer, heavy burst laser. You know, just so you know what's what. Okay, and that is the Rebs. I always like the Rebs. I know you like them a lot better because this is basically your #1 faction. Some positive changes, a new leader, basically another 4 leaders when you think about it. I just think, you know, some good stuff. The resilience, the evade for the survey drone, the shield. Just some good stuff. What do you think about all the new additions?
Yeah, I do like the new additions a lot. Rebel Cell Leader is awesome, and the Sword Spawn is also awesome, and, you know, adding resilience to Grogan is pretty good as well. But yeah, so a lot of good stuff. I am liking them a lot. So
yeah, so it'll broaden your horizons as far as the Rebs list. It can, you know, reinvigorate the fact that you can take all this new stuff. We can get it going. It's I think all positive change. I think the Rebs did get better since you asked that 4 years ago.
Yes, and I'm very happy to see them get a lot better since that question.
So, guys, that's it for the Rebs. Thank you for hanging out with us. We really appreciate it. If you like this video, just can you give us a thumbs up? Throw a comment down below. We get the conversation going. We do have a Patreon if anyone's interested in helping us make more videos. And if this is your first time here or you're getting into Deadzone or some other hobby type stuff, we got a lot of other videos. So please hit that subscribe button. And thanks again for hanging out with us. And I will see you in the next video.